The Eyes of Texas.
The Eyes of Texas was born in the summer of 1969. One of its proud parents was a talented writer, reporter, and producer from West Texas. His name was Gary James.
Gary began traveling across the state in search of interesting people and places to share with KPRC viewers.
Phil Archer remembers Gary James.
Gary James Tidwell was a West Texas boy who loved to tell a good story, and in his time he told thousands of them. Stories about Texas.
In the early 1900s, Charles Appelt's Armadillo Farm was the largest employer in the hill country.
Stories about armadillo ranchers and dollhouse fanciers.
The Miller's dollhouses may look like toys, but they are not.
Stories about places often passed by.
It's all true, but the city's off the beaten path.
And he did it with a respect for the people and culture that celebrated our common humanity. Gary grew up in Big Spring, Texas, married his high school sweetheart. He moved his young family to Houston in the early 60s to be a big city reporter.
Gary, we got about 3 sound film assignments that I know.
On the police monitors, the dispatcher's saying something about a shootout over in the 4th Ward. Have you picked that up?
Gary was what we call in the news business a one-man band. Photographer, reporter, editor, he did it all, and he made it look easy.
Watch him, Sarge.
Soon he was doing in-depth stories that made a difference, and in the case of Wiley College, a very big difference. In the documentary The Right Man, Gary focused his camera on Dr. Robert Hayes as Hayes struggled to save Wiley, a small black college in East Texas. Dr. Hayes had been sent to Marshall to close the school. Instead, he saved it.
The black college is necessary because I represent a model. I came from the ghettos of Houston, through Jack Yates, through Wiley, through Gammon Seminary, through Boston University. It'd be a long time before there'd be a black president at University of Texas, Southern Methodist. But there is one at Wiley.
Gary's story led to the founding of the United Negro College Fund Telethon, and it won him a Peabody Award, the most prestigious in broadcasting. When KPRC's legendary news director Ray Miller launched a weekly magazine show, he chose Gary to produce it. And from 1969 until his retirement 25 years later, Gary was the heart of the program, presenting a weekly parade of the people and places that make Texas unique. Gary had a natural talent for finding ordinary people with interesting stories.
And I saw this down this little dirt road in this forest country, a sign out front that said original art for sale. And original was misspelled. I thought that might be worth a look.
He explained how he found one a few years ago. The story was about East Texas folk artists Mildred and Floyd Clark.
She's got a stick of cardboard she's painting on, and a fifth of gin on the side. Mildred is painting, and this house is just from wall to wall. Mildred's painting on cardboard, mind you, not on canvas, on cardboard. And then I go outside, and Floyd, who's a few years older than Mildred, he smokes like he never lets one down. And he's making frames for that picture out of rubber bicycle tires. And so right then and there, I knew I had a story.
For those of us new to the business in the 70s and 80s, Gary was a role model.
He was a very patient teacher, taught me a lot about TV and journalism. And the thing that impressed me most was how patient he was and what a good teacher he was.
It was just a wonderful time in my life to be able to be a part of that and learn a lot about Texas history.
For all of the attention he lavished on others, Gary rarely called attention to himself. In his last years, he suffered a debilitating stroke, but he kept working. And later, when the doctors diagnosed cancer, Gary faced it with bravery and determination. Gary set an example for us right to the end. He was a consummate professional and a generous friend. And it's comforting to think the world is a little bit better for his having been in it. I'm Phil Archer.
We are all the beneficiaries of the work of Gary James. He produced more than 900 shows and countless stories.
And we are proud to bring many of his stories back to light. Coming up next, Gary's story of an East Texas basket maker. Then we travel north of Dallas to an area transformed from wasteland to grassland when The Eyes of Texas continues.